Welcome everybody. Nau mai, haere mai. We'll start with a karakia, if that's all right, and I am going to ask everyone to stand. And we'll go with our new one today. Tutawa mai I runga, tutawa mai I raro, tutawa mai I roto, tutawa mai I waho. Kia tau ai te Māori tū, te Māori ora ki te katoa, haume ai, hui ai, tae ki ai. Ngā mihi nui, please take a seat. Thank you once again, everyone, for coming, those online, those who are here in person. We've got some procedural matters to work through first, which will not take long, which just formalises the session. First, I'll ask for apologies. Are there any apologies from around the council table?
But I just have to nip out quickly at 9:30.
Thank you for letting us know, Councillor Sinclair.
Just so you know, Councillor Gottlieb and Councillor Walker are not online yet.
Okay, thank you. We'll note that. We won't put them in as apologies yet. Most people, or some people may be aware, Councillor Walker is overseas at the moment, but we'll just keep an eye. Is that him coming in?
No, we're just trying to connect them in.
Okay. So just keep us posted on that,
Yeah.
And we can update the minutes if we need to. So we won't log any apologies, but if later on we do have some apologies, I will ask for a mover and a seconder for that motion. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? There being none, we have Leslie here and Kath, thank you. And we're going to hand it over to Leslie to give us an update on the hearings report and a couple of amendments, I think. Leslie, over to you.
Kia ora, Your Worship and councillors. I take the report as read. However, just a couple of things. There is one late submission that was attached to the hearing pack. It came in time for us to attach. There is a typographical error. It's the late submission from the Treasury Research Centre and Archive. It's listed as LTP number 338 when it should be 348. So I just wanted to note that for you. You will also have a hard copy of another late submission that's come in from Sally Christie, number 349. So those two submissions, I would request that you accept those as late.
You just ask a question. 348, is it in the pack?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
It's at the end of the pack. It's the very last submission. It's marked late.
Thank you. So we need a mover and a seconder, please. So Rekha has moved that. Thank you, Rekha. Seconder, thank you. And we'll just take these as a block, items 1, 2 and 3. Have you got the paper in front of you? Sorry, 1, 2, 3 and 4. All those in favour? Those against? Carried. Thank you. Appreciate it, Leslie. And we'll make a start. Our first submitter is Greg Hampton and Debbie McLaren. Welcome, Greg. Welcome, Debbie. So there'll be a little bit of juggling. We will ask you, for the benefit of the people online and for the record, when you're speaking, if you use the right-hand button on that microphone. Greg, if you're speaking, then that'll be in front of you. But if somebody else is speaking, if you can just move it's not connected, it's all wireless. So at the, you'll have 5 minutes. At the 1 minute, either myself or Ari or somebody will wave this and it's not working. It was working yesterday. Because Can anyone else try their? Barry, is your one working? The left-hand one. No, not working. It was working yesterday. Never mind. All right. Timer on the screens. All right.
Last 10-year plan and was an accepted project and has had certain stages completed already. So I guess we were a little surprised that it did not feature in this 10-year plan, hence our submission. So I won't go through our submission. It's a 2-page submission. If you haven't had the opportunity to read it, I really encourage you to. It gives you the background, some discussion and strategic alignment as well. I guess we really want to give most of the time this morning for you to be able to query us about clarifications on our submission because you have the detail there. But in summary, we really believe that this type of economic development project is exactly what we need right now to re-stimulate the economy, the local economy, after some very challenging years. You can see it on the street, the number of businesses for sale and so forth. It's a very urgent thing that we look for other ways to stimulate the visitor economy to Thames. And Thames is perfectly placed geographically for local, regional, regular visitor destination opportunities because even when there are storms and the roads are closed on the peninsula, 95% of the times Thames remains open. And if we can promote Thames as being open and if we can have significant visitor destination attractions product, the best one being, of course, the Kauranga River and the Kauranga River Trail, then we can stimulate more economic development for this town, which can only be good for the rest of the district as well, particularly in those times when the rest of the district cannot be accessed. So Thames and geographic benefit that we need to recognise, and we need to build more product around giving people reasons to come. So I'm just going to open this up. TCDC has already...
You've just turned your mic off, Greg, I think. Yeah, that's it.
TCDC has already invested significantly in this project. So to not continue would mean a sunk cost and loss of opportunity. So we really need to progress this project, and the obvious next step, and it's something that the group has been asking for the last 3 years, is to fund a business case. A business case will put the project in the position of being able to apply for external funding. And that's really the next logical step to progress this project. And of course, there's a challenging financial time, so we need to access external funding opportunities. We cannot do that without a business case. We really believe that this project will be a game changer for Townsville. Cycle trails, one-day cycle trails experiences are the most popular cycling experience in the country. That's proven through economic studies. So this trail perfectly fits that type of project. The other issue is road safety. With the existing road safety issue on the Kauranga Valley Road, we have the swing bridge, big pool, thank you, which has a huge amount of pedestrian and cycle traffic from town to every year. Debbie will be able to speak to the number of near misses and so forth. So we really need to address that. Now, to me, that is a purely eroding project that just needs to get done. It is entirely on road reserve, and we need some off-road access for the children of Thames, cycling and walking access. I'm going to pass over to
Morning, everybody. It's also the safety and it's also a transport concern for children trying to get to and from schools. There are a lot of families that live in the very start of the Kauranga Valley and they're unable to get onto the school bus that goes up and down every single day. So in terms of near incidents, I believe as another Kauranga resident, everybody reports the near misses and they need to prove how often this happens.
That's
We do
time.
not want a fatality.
Thanks, Debbie. That is time now, but what I will do is ask councillors if there are any questions of you. Delly, please.
Thanks for your presentation, Greg, and all of you. How much do you estimate a business case would cost?
So I had a quote last year from a consultant who was referred to me by Diane Drummond from the Hauraki Rail Trail. So that was sort of like $35,000–40,000. Of the Kauranga River Trail project as an dollars in year one of the LTP. Now, feasibility first, two tranche funding. Feasibility first. If the feasibility is not there, then you quit. But then you move on to business case. Should a feasible route be found?
Sorry, Peter and then John, please.
Thanks. Thanks for the presentation. So I was going to ask that question, but that's done. Would the business case, you've talked quite a bit about the benefit to Thames, would the business case be, would you consider the business case to be actually revealing any benefit to the district? You're already on.
You don't have to leave your finger on it.
Yes. That accessibility, we know that the peninsula will continue to suffer from road closures on a regular basis. We need to change the perception that after it rains, don't come to the peninsula. And I think Thames is always accessible. It's very frustrating to Thames businesses, and I own Carson's Bookshop in the centre of town. It's very frustrating to hear those media announcements to say, you know, don't travel to the peninsula when Thames 95% of the time is open. So we really need to change that narrative. And of course, it will benefit the district to still have money flowing into the district. Thames is part of the district. It, you know, with circular economies, local procurement is another thing that we should be looking at. Thank you.
John Grant, please.
Thanks very much, and thank you very much for coming to present today. I remember your last visit to us as well, and my question to you is around the funding requirements that you have. Have you explored any other options in regard to sources of funding for the business case? Have you been to organisations that would obviously be there to support ventures such as this? And I frame that on the basis of, I'm sure, your understanding of the pressures that exist now around the multiple requests that we have for funding.
Thank you, John, for the question. For context, the Kauranga River Trail Advocacy Group is not a formal entity. We would consider becoming a formal entity should council back the project. We need to see, so, I mean, we all know how funding works, that there's potential for us to gain dollar for dollar investment, But what a lot of funders will look for first is for council to endorse the project and commit a certain amount of funding. If council endorsed a project for, say, $50,000, it's very possible that we could get $50,000 from other funders based on that initial funding. So I really think that we need to back our own local projects first, show that we are strongly advocating for them, and then funders will take it seriously. Without council's endorsement and council's having some meat in the game, then other funders will be reluctant.
Thank you, Greg. We'll leave it there, I think. But I know that there's going to be further discussion with councillors and yourself one-on-one as we go on with this. Thank you once again. Thank you for the rest of the team.
Thanks for the opportunity and good luck
appreciate
for your hearings. It's challenging, I'm sure.
Thank you. So next we've got online Greg Laslett from the Kauranga Trails Trust. I'm sorry. Greg, are you with us? There he is.
Good morning, everybody. Do I have good visual and good verbal?
You do. We can see you. We can hear you. You have 5 minutes. And can you see that timer on the screen, Greg? We'll flag you when you've got a minute left. Okay.
Yes.
Over to you.
Okay. Does the room have a graphic?
It does. Yes.
Right. Okay, so I've got two areas of talking points this morning. The first is basically generally about parking facilities for our walking trails around up the coast and basically around through Corriglen. Now, the graphic up on the screen at the moment is a sort of a somewhat summarised diagram of our hiking, tramping, walking structure, accessing and into the park. Of interest to council is the fact that most of what we call dock tracks, especially on the coast, are actually legal road reserve, at least initially. And the essential pitch here is essentially an obvious one. We have very poor parking at probably most of these sites, and this would be incredibly inexpensive to fix. So then we go to, one moment. Yep. Look, I'd almost say the almost usual tourism justifications here, because what I'm hoping to pitch to the room is essentially an obvious. People who want to go walking in the bush on the Coromandel will often come from Auckland, Tauranga, Hamilton, etc. And they will want to park at the beginning of the track. So the trust itself potentially has alternate funding to do things like signage. And we're looking basically for a budget allocation, and I assume that that's a roading budget allocation for a small capital amount and for a small ongoing amount to essentially look after parking at trailheads. We would also be seeking permission from council to actually engage at a community level, signage and track maintenance. Right, so we've got a number of specific sites. One is Tararoo, Victoria Road, which is just north of Thames. We have our original metal car park is overgrown with grass. There's no curbing or marking. the signage is poor, and the turnaround up there is currently blocked, which is a more detailed issue that I'm currently engaging with both roading and community over. We would like council to basically remetal the car park, sort out the legal road, perhaps give permission to trust entities like ourselves to do sign maintenance and basic track vegetation maintenance, and essentially, which applies to all of these car parks, get them on a regular maintenance schedule. Low cost, we're probably talking total something like 10K capital and 5K per year operational. This is tiny money.
Sorry, that's your 1 minute, Bell. Thanks, mate.
Right. Okay. Well, then, so for the first one, similar situations up at Waiumu. Similar situations up at the Tapukoa Glen Summit. And similar situations over on the other side at Rangihau. Basically, the pitch here is council, please put these trailhead car parks on the radar with a formal budget. So I can end my first 5-minute one there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have we got Greg for two? Booked for two. Greg, we've only got you booked for one, unless you are in on another organisation or another subject.
No, okay. There were 2 LTP requests. I can hunt those down if you like. I might be 9:30 on the other one. Are we able to confirm that?
I'm just having a look at the schedule now, and it's not coming up. Was it on the same organisation or a different organisation? Or
same organisation?
It's possible that you might have done 2 submissions, but when you had to indicate whether you wanted to speak, you only indicated one, which is
okay. Well, definitely both. So what does the room want to do? Can I be given that 5 minutes, or do you want me to come back at another time?
As it stands now, Greg, we are behind schedule, and we've got a lot of people to hear, so we will leave it there, I think. But you are very welcome. You've done those submissions. You're very welcome to reach out to us independently. So, but we will leave it there. And thank you. That is, we've got the picture, and you've done a really good submission. We've got all the details there. I will ask councillors if there are any questions. Councillor Sinclair, please.
Hi, Greg. Just remind us, there has previously been an MOU between council and the Kauranga Valley Tramping Club for maintenance on a track. Is that correct?
There has.
Okay, thank you. So that model exists within our system and within yours.
Absolutely. So essentially, the only change at this point is that the club is wound down and is not doing that community activity anymore. But a trust has been floated to take that over.
Excellent, thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Greg. Any other questions? Ricky, you've got your...
No, it was along the lines of what Robin asked.
All right.
So I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, we've got Caroline from the museum. Caroline, we saw you earlier on. Are you still with us? 562. Is that page number not correct? Page 526, not page 562. Thanks, Leslie. Carolyn, where are you? You were there. Can you turn your camera on again, please?
There
Carol?
I am. Okay, yeah.
Turn your camera on, please, so we can see you, if you don't mind.
So am I on now?
Yes, there you go.
Hi.
Well, okay.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for this today. So representatives from the museum are also in the room with you. So what I would like to say is that I was very disappointed looking at the long-term plan that there was no provision made for funding of the heritage and cultural sector in our town. And I know that a lot of money has been invested recently in rebranding the town and make as a destination. So I feel that to get the most out of that, then there also needs to be some investment in making sure that our history is also well represented. And remember, it's a history which dates back millions of years when gold was formed, and then right through up until the present day. So I'd like to